All right. Welcome to the start of a brand new anime review series. Wow, another one. Wasn't the last one you started, 100 Girlfriends? Indeed, it was. Yep, this is definitely the one I actually want to discuss. Now, here's a slight problem with this one. This is based upon a light novel series, which is definitely true, but I ripped the manga. Here is the problem with this one. The light novels, like in the case of another series I've watched, The Strongest Sage with the Weakest Crest, where that one, the light novels were never released here for reasons, but yet the manga was, the manga adaptation of it, so I read for the manga. And as of right now, I've read, I think, like the chapter 40, I think it is. Let me take a look and see about that. Just be sure here. The furthest I've gotten with this one is chapter 45. Yep. Yeah, 45 is the most. Oh, yeah, I met this guy last time. 45 is the most recent chapter I read out of like about 200 chapters. Yeah, and this stuff's from the light novels. Now I have heard that for a light novel wise, this does cover the first two light novels, this whole entire season. Now, I personally haven't read the light novels purely because basically I've tried to find information about them, but all I find is the web novel. I'm like, I don't want the web novel. I want the light novel because I had this similar thing with happen with High School DxD where the light novel wasn't released at that point. Now it has been released over here after taking 10 years to get released over here for reasons unexplained. This one, there's no reason why this one can't. Now, yes, not every single light novel series can be licensed over here, but here's the thing. If you're curious, here's one of the volumes of manga. This is volume number 8. Uh, if you're really curious, is one of the girls on the cover here in the episodes? Yes, this one is. I'll talk about her later. Now, this series does have something in common with another anime I watched this year. The Eighth Son? Are you kidding me? You're thinking, what is the common with that series? The fact it's a isekai type series where a character gets reincarnated in the world. Actually, this is the third time this happened because this happened in one other anime I have watched, which I have heard they actually did confirm a season 2 for that one. That one was the world's finest assassin gets reincarnated as the world's aristocrat. Where they start with a flash forward and then they go back to the beginning. Now, excuse me, I'm not sure exactly why in the world they do this for. Where in the case of 3 anime I've ever watched, they have to do these flash forwards. I don't really know why. Why can't they just start with the manga saying stuff? Oh, we gotta show off all these characters who are gonna be appearing this season. Oh, actually, scratch that. This actually might be the fourth anime because I believe this also happened in Harem and Labyrinth in the World, where it happened with that one too. So this happened a few times so far, but I do find it a bit of an annoyance, but it's fine overall. For me, it's very minor at best, but it does show off a lot of the characters we're going to be seeing over the course of this series, and we're going to see their chronological when they first show up. Now, we're only going to be talking about the characters who actually show up in the main stuff, not the flash forward stuff, the main stuff, who show up in the opening 2 episodes of this series. Now, the series basically starts off with basically our protagonist, and his name is Hikaru Machio, voiced by Blake Shepard. Those of you fans of Food Wars will recognize this voice actor as the guy who also voiced the lead character in that series, who, just by sheer coincidence, is also a cook in this one too, but not to the extent that he was over in Food Wars. I haven't watched Food Wars, but it's kind of interesting. But here's the thing, it's a cooking anime, and I wouldn't mind watching it per se, but the thing is, I would like watching anime mixed with a little bit of romance. That's what keeps me interested in some animes. But if it doesn't much romance, it might take me a while before I finally get into it. This one, yeah, I knew this one was a romance right away because it's a harem one. Though, here's a little fun fact where apparently this guy has got the largest harem in the history of anime. Apparently, he's involved with almost 200 women. I am not kidding about that. Where he gets married to multiple women, he also has lovers, and about 30 children. Yes, seriously. Normally, in anime I've watched, usually where a character has, well, about 4 or 5 women he's involved with. Sometimes mainly one. This one, he's got freaking like, I don't know, like 10 wives, like 15 wives. Like I heard, I know that in the 100 Girlfriends one, I'm going to review later, it's 100 girlfriends, but I don't know if he's going to marry them or not. So here, okay, he basically, now this is a bit of a change from the manga, where we have God, the local God, who's going to reincarnate it, well, resurrect him into the world with a young body that will not allow him to die. That's kind of the premise of the series. It kind of started with where God looks a little different than he was presented in the manga. In the manga, he just this blank thing, and the anime basically present him the way his appearance is. It reminds me of how the Christians perceive how Christianity perceives how what God looks like. A guy, or better, it kind of reminds me of Jesus. I'm not kidding about it. Just basically with the long hair and the way he dresses reminds me a lot of Jesus. That's what he reminds me of. Except Jesus had a full beard compared to this guy where he just has like a chin beard. And no, this is not Satan. So he's like, I'm sorry, dude. I did some bad stuff to you. So I'm going to basically resurrect you to the world and get do whatever the heck you want. He's like, okay, I want to be a farmer. What? Yeah, I also don't want to die, which they did changes in the anime where it was already reinstated right away, and he would want to be just, well, give language to the world, which that's, okay, the language of the world thing, that is not brought up very often because a lot of the time when people go to these other fantasy worlds, sometimes they cannot understand what people say. Usually they're given it right away, or at least they mention it prior to going there, because that usually is an issue, a language issue. Because even going to a foreign country where the spoken language, like, let's say, because I speak English. Let's say if there's some place like Japan, for example. Can I really understand what people are saying? No, because speaking a completely different language. Speaking the same language will make total sense, have a good conversation. So for him, throughout the entirety of the first episode, he's only talking to animals. The whole first episode. So he arrives there and starts up his own. He just walks around for a bit. He basically cannot die. And he gives the God enhancement tool, basically a farming tool, where it can basically come with any type of farming enemy you can think of. And the first enemy he thinks of is a hoe. Yes, seriously, a hoe. He's also have an axe, a hatchet, a pair of scissors, which this actually is plant scissors. I have seen these things. These are basically like big handles with small, like little blades. Most of them they're meant for cutting plants. But it's like any normal tool you could think of, and it goes like with various different plants, well, various different food. Like, he even thought of growing eggplant at one point. Yeah, so it goes eggplant, cabbage, tomatoes, soybeans. But the one thing he kept complaining about, like, I can really use some salt. Yeah, so he just digs, he just chops up some trees, digs and looks for some water. Eventually he does find water in this hole area, and he needs a break, use the bathroom. Like, he creates like a toilet. Like, he gets about to do his biz, like, I don't feel comfortable doing it in the open, so builds like some walls and a roof. I'm like, okay, interesting. And to take care of himself at nighttime, he basically, first builds sort of a hut to have himself this one-room hut to live in. Then, of course, then not long after, he has 2 wolves show up. 2 black wolves, one of whom is a female, which they identify as female, basically based upon the swollen belly. So It's presumed that she's pregnant. He just helps out whatever he can. Maybe he probably got some expertise of how to deal with pregnancy, probably because he was staying. By the way, he was terminally ill for a long time, and his relative betrayed him for money, presumably. So when he was able to stand up, when you see him stand up in the episode, he's like, "This is the first time in years I've actually stand on my own 2 feet." Where he's like, "I stand on my 2 feet. I can breathe properly." It's like basically having a fresh life, a fresh start for himself. And you see that in the opening few minutes of the episode, like right after he arrives, and it's revealed that the area he landed is the Forest of Death. Which, of course, he has no idea what the heck that is. He does not know about that for a long time. At least not in this episode. Nope. So then, of course, he cultivates land, builds borders, deals with these rabbits. He had to kill one with a farming tool. This wicked rabbit. And I'm thinking, well, at least this rabbit looks scary, unlike what it did in Night of the Lepus, starring DeForest Kelly, where the director tried to make rabbits scary. I'm like, and so I'll point out though, you did. So, I think it was Cinema Snob, not Cinema Snob, maybe Cinema Snob or Angry Video Game Nerd, who brought James Raw brought up basically. Director tried to make rabbits scary, and he did not do a good job because rabbits are scary. They're cuddly little things. The only problem with them is they multiply way too quickly. That's the problem with rabbits. They just spring up like crazy. So then, of course, overnight, the wolf female wolf gives birth to about 4 puppies. They walk around for a while, and of course, they encounter a spider who makes him proper. He's given some clothes so he's not walking around butt naked, but things in cold. So that's when he encounters a spider. Which, by the way, he does give the animals names. If I can find him here. Okay, so by the way, he currently is the age of 20. So basically, the 2 wolves are named Kiro and Yuki. Kiro is the boy, and the girl is the girl. Then there is the spider, Zabuton, who basically is like the reason why he's called it because it reminds me of futon. Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that Zabuton has got like 16 children because it's a female. Oh yeah, he likes potatoes. Says Zabuton means cushion. Yeah. And then of course basically like by the way, next episode ends with the introduction of the girl we're going to see next episode. They had this gag for that one, so we'll get to that. So, at the end of the creatures there, it's like, he's like, man, he like, after basically making up a coat, he makes him a fire, it makes him a separate house, which seems like a small cabin per se, but from what I saw Flash 4, it's going to get much, much bigger. It's going to turn into a mansion. Yeah, basically a mansion we see like a Western style mansion. I'm not sure about Japanese style mansion, but Western mansion. Get to that later. So he makes the cloth, makes a bed, makes some chairs, table, basically an early version of a house. He also thinks the spider makes curtains. So we've had seems like a lot of stuff happens over the course of the first episode, and there's like no anybody else, just him and a couple wolves and spiders, and kind of creatures. He also makes more fields for himself, and then the episode ends with the debut of a character who is voiced by Lucy Christian, who turns out to be a vampire. And you're thinking, wait, isn't there another anime you watched, Nick, where the first woman he encounters that he gets involved with is a vampire? Yes, this is the second one basically I've seen like this. The last one was a Freya. Yep. Yes. Yes, Freya. Yeah. So the woman's name is Rue Rudsiti, which he finds her while she's being attacked by the wolves and the spider. Yeah, she sucking his blood to make clothes, and it keeps going small because magical power. And it turns out she's basically just a botanist. She wants to research medicinal herbs, and basically, even they just met, he asks her, like, oh yeah, maybe I'll leave and come back. And he's like, would you like to stay? You like stay with me forever? Yeah, unintentionally, she points out that you just proposed to her, you two just met. But he's like, I'm lonely. He's like, okay. So, yeah, she decides to stay, and, well, unofficially becomes the very first wife. Yes. And then the next episode, end of episode 2, we're going to get introduced to the second girl who's going to be showing up in the series. A woman by the name of, let's see, it's not this one. A woman by the name of Tia, which they'll probably name her in the next episode, and she is voiced by Monica Rial. Yep, I can tell by the voice that is Monica Rial. So this kind of hooked me on the series, the fact that basically these two are the first of 3 women who I'm fans of, and also I've met all the voice actors already. Lucy, I just met again just this past year. Monica, I met her, I think that was about last year, I think it was, in 2022. I saw Lucy again this year. And the third one, we'll talk about her when we get to episode 4 of the series, which I'm very much looking forward to. Yeah, by the way, with basically kind of this one, from Monica Rial, this is the 37th series. Yep. And fun fact for Monica Rial, this is the first anime where I've watched where it's not Funimation dub at all. It's not Funimation or even a Crunchyroll dub. It's a Sentai Filmworks dub. Yep. And you're thinking, okay, interesting. I did not expect that at all. Nope. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy these 2 episodes. I will be back. Definitely. When? Probably not tonight per se. Probably tomorrow. Oh, in the case of Lucy, for her, this is actually the 16th series. Yep. Number 16. Though for her, it's been a while since I've actually come across her for another anime. And that anime is, of course, not for a couple of years actually, The Case of Phantos. But yeah, not much to say about these 2 episodes. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I can't wait to discuss more of the episodes. 2 down, 12 to go. Okay. Next up, another harem anime. 100 Girlfriends. Okay, next video. Bye.